You're welcome back to the show. Now, road accident figures, as we understand, in the Upper West region alone went up by more than 50% for 2016. It's just 17 days, like I said earlier on, into the year 2017. Already, we've recorded several crashes, and I have driven on the motorway. I drive on the motorway every day, and I can count not less than 5 accidents, some fatal, on the motorway. So we're going to talk about road safety. How can we ensure that our roads are safe? Nana Ano Ame here is president of the Ghana Institute of Safety and Environmental Professionals. Giseven joins me in the studio. Nana, you're welcome. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. And you?
I'm not bad.
You're looking well.
Thank you. You do look well as well. Now, let's talk about the issue of the accident. I mean, it's alarming that the road accident figures should go up above 50% for 2015. Now, like I was saying, I drive on the motorway just coming to work on a daily basis. Since January 1st, I have seen not less than 5, and some have been fatal. We know of what has happened also not so long ago in the central region, Akoti, and very soon we'll be talking to Rafik. But Nana, what is it that we are missing? What really is it, would you say?
Yes, I have a problem with the figures of 50%.
About 50%,
that you just quoted. I mean, I don't think it reflects the whole, it's across board in the whole country.
Okay.
This Upper West
region.
Yes. So on top of my head, without going really into details, what is accounting to the Upper West increment, exponential increment? You see, the last 6 months, or probably about 9 months ago, these motor tricycles, auto rickshaws, were introduced in the 3 northern regions. And in Tamale, the statistics there was so dire that every month there were about 10 people dying out of the tricycles which they dubbed Mahama Kambu, incidents involving those tricycles, which were illegal anyway. So if in the absence of the breakdown of the fatalities, whether it's Mahama Kambu related or is the general road traffic, then we'll be able to put it in perspective.
Okay.
But if you look at the National Road Safety Commission, which we compliment their work, have done extremely well. That they kept the figures down last year. Total fatalities for the year of 2015 was 1,440.
Okay,
now,
and if you compare that to what has happened in the past, that is better?
No, much better.
Okay.
But now it inched up to about 2,000. But if you do the numbers, I don't think 2,000 and 1,440 amounts to 50%. So what has happened in Upper West, I think we need to look at it properly.
Look
so
at
that
it
we
properly.
can put things in perspective.
Okay.
If you say fatalities list has gone up 50% or 51% in the Upper West,
okay,
then we need to interrogate it further.
Okay, well let's go over on the telephone line and speak with my colleague Rafik Salam, who is standing by. He's in the Upper West region, of course, so that he can tell us what's happening really on the ground. Hello, Rafik, can you hear me?
I'm hearing you, Gifty.
Okay, I trust that you're well. Now, Rafik, we're looking at some figures here, and of course, Mr. Amir here is talking about, he's not really sure about the figures, that we need a bit of clarity on the figures, but on the ground, what is happening? Would you say that the region has recorded much more accidents with or without fatalities? How would you describe it?
In terms of fatalities that we are talking about, let me run through the figures for you.
Okay.
And then in terms of vehicles that were involved in accidents, in 2015 it was 70, and in 2016, the last quarter, it was 40. And so that clearly means that.
Hold on, in 2015 the figure was what?
In 2015 the figure was 43.
Okay.
70. Sorry, 70. I'm talking about vehicles that were involved in accidents, 70, and then in 2016 it was 64, and so clearly means that a decrease of 8.6%. And when we talk about the number of fatal cases, in 2015 it was 12, And so in 2016, it reduced to 8. It reduced to 8. And so it means that about 33.3% decrease. And here, the worry now is about the number of persons who got injured during accidents. And then in 2015, it was 54. And then in the last quarter of 2016, it rose up to 82. And that's an increment of 51.9%. And that's where the worry is now. Day in, day out, we are experiencing accident cases in the Upper West region, particularly in the one municipality, and it has to deal with motorbikes. And then also the use of this Bajaj, or should I say, the Mahama Kambu, is a popular feature here. Just some 30 minutes ago, I went to buy fuel on my motorbike, and I just experienced one accident involving a pupil just some 30 minutes ago. And so the case is an increasing one in the women's health, and the number of injuries day in, day out has been increasing. We are even talking about the number of reported cases, and so it's on the high side.
So which means that there are other unreported cases as well, which when put together will probably saw the figures a bit higher.
Yes, this particular case that I'm referring to, which happened about 30 minutes ago, it did happen at the full glare of the public. It was not reported, and that they took the child to a private pharmacy for him to be treated. And so there are a lot of unreported cases that are happening. And so even the 51.9% increment that we are talking about could be on the low side if those cases were reported to the police or to the National Road Safety Commission.
And how are residents taking this? Has it become something that, is it more like something that has come to stay so that it becomes a norm? So you see the accidents, but it becomes a norm. Or is there a feel of worry? Are they panicking about this? Are they calling for any solutions to the problem? Or has it just become normal?
I must say that residents are really worried about what's really happening on the street. And they are, the commonest means of transport in the Upper West region here is the motorbike. And so if you even ask people not to use motorbikes, at least it will grant the whole transportation system in the region to a halt. But you see, majority of these people who buy these motorbikes or who use these motorbikes are unlicensed, and also majority of them are also not using their helmet. And so there are a lot of cases that you think that could have been prevented. Some of the accidents, some of the people who died or got injured could have been prevented if the people were licensed, and also because they commit silly mistakes, and then also if they were also using crash helmets, it would also been avoided. But it's really a worry here, and there are certain people here, if you ask them to use, if you want to even pick him as a pillion rider on a motorbike, he wouldn't. And so there's a lot of fear on the people here with the use of motorbikes.
Okay. And what's the Road Safety Commission office there doing about this? Do we know?
The Road Safety, they have impact on a series of programs at churches, also at the mosques, and then they have relation with the authorities at the mosques, and then also the church to speak to them about some of these issues. And also they have also gone to the lorry parks, the lorry stations, and then they've been asked to people to change the attitude of people in some of these areas. But the major it has to do with careless riding. And so I've always told people that when you are in work and you want to ride or you want to drive, you have to do defensive riding or driving. Don't ever think that you have the right of way, because if you think that you have the right, somebody can crash into you. And so it has to deal with the attitude of the people. And to be honest with you, majority of the people are not licensed, and the majority of the people are not on crash helmets. And that's really the problem here in the Upper West region.
Thank you very much, Rafiq. Rafiq Salam is my colleague in the Upper West region, and he's telling us that in 2015, the accidents recorded was 70, but in 2016, it came down to 64. But then in terms of fatalities, in 2015, it was 12, and in 2016, it was 8. What the Road Safety Commission officers says they are doing is they go out there and engage the drivers and engage people to educate them. Is that enough if we really want to solve this problem once and for all?
Well, the problem can be solved, but most times, National Road Safety Commission have the men to do the job, but they don't have the tools to do the job. Going out there to talk to people, don't do this, don't do that, is not enough. You need to back it up with enforcement.
What kind of enforcement are we looking at, if you say so?
Enforcement, you know, the difference, sometimes when I say it, I say this advisedly. The difference between we Homo sapiens and the animal kingdom is rule of law. Okay? So when you throw rule of law to the dogs, then we are behaving like the animals. You see? Because we have rules that regulate traffic. It says that when you mount a motorcycle, you must wear a helmet, basic. You require a driver's license to ride a motorbike. But invariably, in the 3 northern regions, I bet if you go and do a survey over there and ask how many people know that you require a driver's license to ride a motorbike. They have no idea.
And the thing about riding motorbikes up north is that it is, you see almost everybody on it. Now I've gone to the north and seen people sit on a motorbike with their children, about 5 children on one motorbike, and they're not wearing any protective gear. So it's like, it's a problem that really can't be dealt with just by engaging people not to drive carelessly in the northern region.
Yes,
but then how do you solve a problem which has come to stay?
So I made a point. You see, one, your colleague said it all. It's an attitudinal problem, and you need to work on that. That's why National Road Safety Commission, they engage the people and talk to them. But if you back it up with punishment, everybody, if you dent somebody's pocket once or twice, he will think twice before doing the same thing again. You see? So just going to talk to the people alone is not good enough. It's not good enough.
It's not enough.
Now, also, I want to go further to say that all these road crashes and all that we hear about and we cannot do anything about it, the enforcement aspect is crucial. So I will always propose that we decouple the MTTD. I mean, it used to be Motor Traffic Unit, but now it's gotten to Motor Traffic Department. Now, that Motor traffic department should be autonomous of the mainstream police administration.
Are they not autonomous, or one would have thought they are?
I can't see. Probably it's a partial thing. But give them full autonomous. Let them make their own budget, because what you find is that most of the budget that are allotted to the police service is to do other important things, what we call important things, fighting crime, protection of life.
Yes, but this is equally important.
But loss of human lives is equally important. But if you give little money to the police administration and they have to really manage where to put this and what, then they prioritize things.
Right.
So then people dying on the motorbikes is not a priority to the mainstream police service. But if you really decouple it and make it fully autonomous with the MTTD, what will happen is that those errant drivers or those who do not want to obey the law, you see, other jurisdictions, they use the carrot and stick system to make more money. So the more you punish these people,
the more you offend the rules of driving, for instance, the more you pay.
The more you pay, and the more the MTTD will make money. It will be self-resourcing. They will make their own money. Even put some of the money into the consolidated fund. So the new Nana Akufo-Addo's government that has come, if they are listening, I think they should look at this proposal very seriously, and then see if they can give full autonomy to the MTTD and have a commander who is a no-nonsense man like my good friend that we lost, may he rest in perfect peace, Awuni. If you have a policeman who is as no-nonsense like Awuni, he doesn't care who acts as God. Whether you are the commander-in-chief, he says, yes, commander-in-chief, sorry, you've given me a job to do, so I want to do it to the best of my ability, but not to pay eye service.
Do you see that as an achievable or feasible target? Because, I mean, the ACP Awuni that we're talking about himself, who a lot of people will say was 1 in 1,000, for instance.
Yes.
But those people will tell you about their own frustrations. I've spoken to some of my colleagues who have worked with him who tell of his own frustrations, the frustrations that he went through. Those people go through a lot if you try to, you want to do the right thing. So is it more about the processes, you know? Can we not learn from what happens? Like you said, in elsewhere, you would pay. The system makes money out of your refusal to obey the laws.
Yes.
How can we get that to work? And how can your institute, for instance, help in getting this, you know, facilitated?
It's all about it's all about leadership.
Really? Is it all about leadership?
If Nana Akufo-Addo, who is the new president, says that, I don't care about this eye service and whatever, I want to appoint people who put them there. He wants results. He doesn't want eye service. So if President Akufo-Addo says that, go to the MTTD, you are fully autonomous, go and do the work. It doesn't matter whether it's my wife or it's my daughter who offends the road law, deal with them. And if that message is sent to all these people who are running the system, believe you me, Gifty, you will cut down all this nonsense that goes on our roads. Because invariably, the political interference is too much.
Too much.
You know, you see the police officers, they are always, don't know.
Is it political interference or lack of pay, you know, appropriate payment?
No.
You
see, if I work closely with the
police,
ACP Awuni, and we talk to most of their officers. In fact, last time at a forum at Mecklin Hotel, the ACP, this is Sapon, who happens to be the Director General of the MTTD, he said out there boldly, and I really commended him for being that bold. In a political system where if you dare open your mouth and speak your mind, you are then transferred to Siberia, which my good friend Awuni of blessed memory was transferred to Siberia.
I see.
He was the commander then of the MTTU, but because he wouldn't budge, he wouldn't really give in to the political interference. What did they do? They moved him from being a commander on the commander in the field, and sent him to Siberia. When they give you a desk job somewhere, then you don't have any power or any control over the system.
Is there a way that the institute can help the Road Safety Commission to deal with this and begin to introduce some of these laws? Elsewhere, of course, like you say, you've got cameras, you've got speed cameras that are stationed all over the place. And so when you're driving and you know, the people know, they're very conscious of it. You don't need any police person on the street because you've got all of those cameras monitoring what they do. And people, they'll just take the picture and send it to your house. And then you have no option but to pay. Is that a system we can introduce here in Ghana?
Gifty, yes, of course you can introduce it here.
So why are we not doing that?
No, we are not doing it. That's
how
we give people big jobs, big positions, but you don't give them tools to work.
Can your institute facilitate something like this?
We are even struggling with funds, so we don't have the largest. But we can promote it. We can talk about it. The more you talk about it, I mean, and people have listening ears, they will listen. Let me give you a case in point. Winneba, on the Winneba Road, we have a lot of crashes going on the Winneba Road. The Winneba Road, the alignment there is a very good low-lying straight roads. Yet we are having unprecedented number of crashes on the Winneba Road. Why is this so? You ask me why?
Yes.
Look, by my own observations, these days when I'm going to Takoradi, I don't really drive, but I do fly to Takoradi. But recently, I've had a couple of runs on that road, okay? You find that the challenges we have on that Winneba Road is to do with these Kia trucks that are carrying water, this pure water, on that road.
Yeah.
And then no water density. Water is very heavy.
Yeah.
And the volume you see on that Kia, the Kia probably is a 3.5 tonner.
But
and it's carrying about 7
items.
tons. And you see it will be crawling like a crab. And then most, that road is a major.
It's a busy road, so the drivers
road.
will then
the
want
drivers
to
will wait
overtake.
behind and queue, and they get impatient.
Okay.
So when they get impatient, what happens? They try to overtake. And during that brings about crashes. That's number one.
Okay. If I'll just bring you in so you finish with the points for me. But now that you mentioned the central region, the Akoti Junction on the Cape Coast Winneba Accra Highway is also an accident-prone area. Now, several lives have been lost on that stretch. At least one person is dead and 30 others got injured in an accident on Sunday. We understand also that there's been some stakeholder meeting. Let's get Richard Kojo, our Central Regional correspondent, on this. Hello, Richard.
Hi, Gipsy.
Richard, what can you tell us from the stakeholders meeting?
Well, the stakeholders have been very much concerned about the high rate of accidents on that particular stretch of road, and they spoke about excessive speeding, and they also mentioned how passengers look on and unconcerned. They do not tell these drivers that speed and overtake needlessly on the road. They do not tell them, and in the process, a lot of them lose their lives. And you know that the Winneba stretch to Accra has been one of the high points in terms of accidents. I mean, the Winneba Government Hospital and the Trauma and Specialist Center at every week. I mean, accident cases are recorded. They carry them, and the recent one that even happened at the Akoti Junction, the deceased, they couldn't even trace the head because the head was detached from the body. They had to come about 100 meters away from where the body was lying before they could. And so it tells you how devastating and how painful, accidents on these roads cause a lot of people that. And let's stay on the Akoti Junction. That particular junction, I mean, it is an intersection. If you're coming from Accra, your back faces Accra, and in front of you is Cape Coast. On your right is the road leading to Kwenyakon, and your left is the road leading to Akoti Township, for example. I mean, a lot of people cross, and when they get there, they do not mind because that particular stretch of road, it's very, very busy, and it is also a transnational highway. A lot of vehicles fly or move from Accra. They move these places to Togo and other places as well. So what the stakeholders have come to realize is that they are empowering passengers to report drivers that go on excessive speed. They have also decided to.
But report to who? Because if I could just come in there.
Exactly.
Report
exactly.
to who
report
and
to
at what time?
Report to the police. When they get to the police checkpoint, they should report. They should be bold to report these incidents to the police so that they can deal with the driver or they can question the driver on how dangerous they are driving on that road. But it looks as if that these passengers, they fear. I mean, when there is an issue like that, one passenger raises it and he or she does not get any support in that particular vehicle, and so he or she is a lone ranger, and then the issue is allowed to go, and the driver goes on to do whatever he or she likes. And they also spoke about pedestrian crossing. You know, Central Region also accounts for a lot of pedestrian knockdown. I mean, you remember, or we are witnesses to what is happening at Kasua when vehicles are knocking down people because, the flyovers have not been constructed where passengers are supposed to cross. These have not been done. But the stakeholders meeting that was done in the Central Region, they are proposing that some tunnels, they cited examples of what happens elsewhere, that some tunnels ought to be constructed underneath these major roads so that, pedestrians would not have to cross the road, but they would use the tunnel underneath the road so that it will minimize the rate of passengers or the knockdowns that happen on our road. And so these were some of the issues that cropped up in the stakeholders meeting that was done under the auspices of the National Road Safety Commission.
What was the composition of the stakeholders, the Road Safety Commission, and then who else?
We had the Highway Authority, the Ghana Highway Authority, their boss was there. We had the MTTU regional boss. We had the GPRTU and other transport owners or other transport associations that had their reps also there. We also had the various driving schools. They also had their reps there. And so so we also spoke with the police boss over there, and he was telling us that, well, he does not think that, I mean, when the issue about checking the licenses and the other documents of passengers that they have been made to stop should really be the issue that is causing the accident on the road. But he says that they need to sensitize these drivers, they need to educate these drivers, and passengers in all of these things, they have a major role to play because they need to, it is a shared responsibility, and the passengers also have their lives to protect, and so they need to ensure that the driver adheres to the strict regulations of the road traffic.
Kojo, let's talk about implementation. Now, it's very easy, and we do that a lot around here, here in Ghana, where we go for meetings and call for stakeholders meetings and, you know, and come up with all of these brilliant ideas. At the end of the day, implementation is never done. Who has been tasked with the responsibility of implementing this particular, the outcome of this stakeholder meeting?
Well, the Regional Road Safety Commission boss on his part said that they have started. And if you travel from Cape Coast, you move from the Yamransa Junction, they have constructed some speed ramps that will help for these vehicles to tone down in terms of their speeding, because that particular area also accounted for a number of pedestrian knockdowns. Because when they get to the towns along the coast, you know, this highway, particular highway, Accra Winneba Highway, there are a lot of towns and villages that are dotted around
the roads.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So the tendency for people to cross at any point in time is very, very. But so when these vehicles get there, they do not care about the speed limits that have been put there. They do not care about anything. They overtake needlessly, even within the town. So most of the time, they account for a number of deaths, pedestrian knockdowns that happen on this particular stretch of road. So at that place, they started erecting sub-road ramps with the aid of the highway authority, and that is what I have seen them that they are undertaking. For the police, they are saying that, well, they will be regular. And so yesterday, I traveled that particular stretch of road, and from Cape Coast to Accra, I met police checkpoints, about 6 of them before I got to Accra.
How helpful is, Kojo, I don't know if the police themselves, or if they were able to speak about how helpful police checkpoints are, because recently we've heard of a journalist who was killed in what you just mentioned as the pedestrian knockdown. He was stopped by the police. Did that issue come up?
Well, that issue did not arise during this meeting, but according to the police, their presence on the road alone will caution drivers, because the drivers themselves have been giving themselves signals that the police are on the way. So when they are driving, it helps them to limit the speed within which they are driving. Otherwise, they will be caught by the police when they are using their speed guns and the others. So to this extent, and their presence on the road, this was what they said about it.
Okay. Thank you very much, Richard. Kojo Nyako is our Central Regional Correspondent, bringing us up to speed on what happened in Akot. Like we said, some people died, about as many as 30 people were injured. Nana, you've heard all that he said. There was a stakeholders meeting, and they've come up with these brilliant ideas and all of that. But the issue is still about implementation. And I'm interested in finding solutions to this problem. And even if we can't find a whole holistic solution now, what can we do in the short term? What can we do? Speed ramps, he says. And then I saw you, shake your head. And obviously, you don't think it's a way to go.
See, we always have draw hasty conclusions and use lazy man solution to resolve some of these issues. You see, on the Winneba Road, we were talking about the police holding speed guns.
Speed guns.
About probably 6-7 years ago, there were only one speed gun for the police in Central Region, and then one in Western Region, and whatever. It was the initiative of the current Executive Director of National Road Safety Commission. That gave them about 20 speed guns for them to be shared among themselves. But that in itself is not a solution.
Okay. Because
in the report, your reporter said that the drivers, they get used to it. When they see the police,
they begin to slow down.
Then they signal to their fellow drivers. Then they slow down. But the danger is that when they slow down, It means that they need to make up the time. They need to make up the time for their destination, okay? So the moment they pass these police checks, what happens? Then they have to speed up more than usual to get to their destinations on time. So that in itself is counterproductive. Okay. Now, you go about the speed humps. The speed humps, every time there's a knockdown, pedestrian knockdown, straight away, oh no, we're going to put a speed hump there. Now, when you put a speed hump there, some of them are not even posted. Because you as a driver, plying that road, you may not even know that there's a speed hump there in the middle of the night on an asphalted road. You go and have a crash yourself.
If there's no signage,
it should be properly signed and it should be lit. You know, with this retroflective painting, that there's a speed hump there. But I don't believe that the road humps or the street humps are useful on a trunk. No, they don't work.
But you do agree that the useful way will be to have speed cameras, for instance.
When it's random, where you don't know, you cannot predict.
No, they know. I mean, elsewhere where it's done, and let's use the UK for instance, because I've just returned from studying there.
Yes.
That you could see that they are there. You know it before you get there. You know it.
They are more conspicuous, and you know that you know. No, but sometimes it deters. But if you have two, with the whole of Central Region, they have 2 speed cameras, and then the police will stand here at this point, and then the drivers who have been there, they signal to their fellow drivers that the police are checking speed. Okay, that's where I said earlier, that is where the danger is. Because once they slow down, you see them slow down for about 1 kilometer. Now when they go past the police, then they speed up to make up for the time.
Would you say we've got a new government in office now, and we've got a minister for railway development, we've got minister for roads, we've got minister for aviation, all of that. Are you expecting any of these ministries to look into this issue particularly and, you know, make it a priority?
Yeah, surely. I mean, Nana Akufo-Addo means business. That's why he's created all these ministries, counter ministries that are overseeing other ministries, monitoring them and doing all manner of things. So basically, the implementation of the policies is where the problem is, because you have to then put resources. You must put resources, or put, as they say, put the money where your mouth is. So if you really want to cut down of speeding, which most times when there's a crash on our roads, straight away they put it down to, oh, the driver was speeding. They don't want to know anything else. Probably it could be drunk, it could be texting, it could be doing all manner of things. But we must put resources in the motor traffic department, decouple it from the mainstream police administration, and then get a no-nonsense police commander that would head that unit. And some of us who will be there as advocates to support them, give them ideas. And you know, technology these days is affecting a lot of agencies and a lot of departments and what have you. So if we really mean business, that you want to save the life of people who are being killed on our roads, then we should, I will admonish our new president that he should put his money where his mouth is.
Put money where your mouth is. Protect your citizens from dying on the road. That is the short message that Nana Ano Amihie is putting through. Nana Ano Amihie is safety and environmental, is president of the Ghana Institute of Safety and Environmental Professionals. Thank you very much, Nana, for coming through. We really appreciate your time. Okay, so he's basically saying that let's invest more in technology, let's decouple the MTTD from the main police administration, and let's put a no-nonsense, in his words, no-nonsense man to head that department.